Even after you certify people and they're officially independent, it's your job as a leader to hold them accountable, track their metrics, track their ratios, track their performance, and then coach them as needed. That's going to lead to them actually elevating their ability. Let's go. Today, I want to talk to you about duplicating yourself into other people and creating as many field trainers as you possibly can. You know, in the life insurance space, the person that has the most sales reps distributing product wins. And so what I want to do is I want to talk to you about increasing the size of your sales force, specifically through field training and specifically in a warm market. And I want to have that conversation because I want to help you get free. And in our business, the person who has the most people out there distributing product will help the most families. The person who helps the most families brings in the most revenue. Revenue leads to profits. Profits leads to financial freedom. And so if we can help you scale at a rapid pace, if we can help you accelerate the duplication process in your business and in your organization, you're going to reach those levels of freedom a heck of a lot sooner. And so I'm going to go over 10 points with you here today that I think will make a difference. They're going to be quick. They're going to be to the point, but I know for a fact that they will help you duplicate a heck of a lot faster. And so before I go into those 10 points, I just want you to write this down. Okay. I do it, you watch. I do it, you do it with me. You do it, I support you. You do it all on your own, and I follow up for accountability. You do it all on your own consistently, and I check in to make sure that I provide you the support that you need. So once again, it's I do it, you watch. I do it, you do it with me. You do it, I support you. You do it all on your own. I follow up for accountability. You consistently do it. And I check in every once in a while to provide you the support that you need, but you don't need it because I trained you properly and I trained you effectively. So I just want you to have those thoughts on your mind as I go through these 10 points, because if you can combine that with these 10 points, you're going to grow, you're going to scale, and you're going to duplicate. So let's start with the first one. Number one, keep it simple and keep it consistent. So important. There's an acronym called KISS, which is keep it simple, silly. And if you want to be more direct, it's keep it simple, stupid. Because the more complicated you are, the harder you are to duplicate. Complexity is the enemy of duplication. Keep it simple. Keep it so easy a caveman can do it, but also keep it super consistent. What do I mean by this? Meaning that if you are constantly saying different things all the time, or you use random analogies, or you change your presentation, or you change your sales process, if you are constantly changing, it becomes very difficult to duplicate because people don't know what they're supposed to duplicate. And let me give you an example. Let's say there's a specific process in my sales presentation. And let's just say, as I'm explaining that process, I use a different analogy every time to explain it. Well, now you're trying to duplicate yourself and people don't know which analogy they're supposed to duplicate and or if they're supposed to learn all of the analogies. So instead of giving 3 to 4 different analogies, how about you just use one and use the same one every time, the most effective one and the easiest one to remember and duplicate, and then do that better than everyone else. Just keep it simple. Be consistent. Stop changing things. The more you change things, the harder it is for people to learn. Number 2, spend time before every sales calls pre-framing the call. So what does this mean? This means if I'm about to sit down with a client, I want to make sure that the person that I'm training is aware of what the process is going to look like. I'm going to pre-frame the call for them. I'm going to say, hey, this is what the process is going to look like. This is what I'm going to do. This is the psychology behind it. This is how I'm going to do it. These are specific questions that I'm going to ask that I want you to look out for. This is what I want you to pay attention to. Notice their body language. Notice my tone. Notice my body language. Notice the way I fluctuate my voice depending on if I'm talking about a sensitive conversation and or maybe I'm getting excited because I'm talking about something that I want them to be excited about. I want you to pay attention to X, Y, and Z. So before every sales call, before every sales presentation, make sure that the person you are training, the trainee, is aware of what they should be looking out for and what they should be paying attention to. If you tell them what to focus on, they'll focus on it, they'll learn it faster, and this will increase how fast you duplicate. Third thing that I want you to pay attention to is spend time after the appointment to recap what happened. Hey, did you notice when they asked this? I said this. Did you notice after this? We did this. Did you notice that when they asked this question, this is how I answered it? Did you notice this, this, and this? Your ability to recap after the appointment will lead to a lot more retention when it comes to the information that you just went over. So yes, we want to pre-frame before the appointment, but we also want to recap after the sales appointment. Number 4, script everything and stay scripted. Do you want it to sound scripted? No. That's the difference between an amateur and somebody who is a professional. A professional will take a script, say it 400 times today, and make it sound as if it's the first time that they ever said it. But it's so important that you do stay scripted because, like I said earlier, if you were constantly saying something new or using a new analogy or using a new process, people don't know what they're supposed to duplicate. And so one of the things that I've worked very hard on over the last couple of years and over my career is saying the same thing over and over and over again. I try not to say anything new because every time I say something new, I slow down the duplication process. So if you want to scale your organization, make sure that you have everything scripted. If you're in my organization, I already have everything scripted. And so I just want to make sure that no matter what, you say the same thing, you stay on script, you say it as if you're saying it for the first time, but you're still staying on script. Number 5, have them participate in the sales process. Have the trainee participate in the sales process and entrust them with small bites so that way they can build up their confidence. What do I mean by this? Obviously in the insurance space, we have a lot of different companies that are in the industry. And explaining to the client that we work with a bunch of different companies is very simple. It's very hard to mess up. So in a moment like that, you might give the trainee the ability to explain that part of it because it's almost impossible to mess up. And even if they do mess it up, it's easy for you to step in and clean it up and make it sound better than the way that they made it sound. And so you want to give people the opportunity to get in the game. You want to give people game time experience because all of a sudden they do that right. And then now they have the confidence to do the next part right. And then they have the confidence after that to do the next part right. And by the time you're done training somebody, they've already done the entire presentation broken down into different increments. Now they have the confidence that they can do it all on their own. So allow your people to participate in the sales process so that way they can get some game time experience because that will boost their confidence when they start doing it all on their own. Number 6, make sure that you teach them how you got to the product selection and how you got to the premium selection. This is so important. Before every sales call, one of the things that I try to make sure that I do is prep the trainee on what I think we're going to do for this client. Do I think we're going to go with this company? Do I think we're going to do this premium? If so, why are we going to go with this company? How did we identify the company? Why are we going to go with this premium? How did we identify that premium? I want to make sure that the trainee doesn't learn just what to do, but the strategy behind how to accomplish it. Because if they just know the companies and if they just know how the products work, but they don't know how to identify what product and or the premium amount that this client should have, what it's going to lead to is a agent overselling, underselling, and or putting the client in the wrong product. And we don't want that. And so make sure that before the sales presentation, one of the things that you pre-frame and go over with them is how you came up with what it is that you were about to implement. And then make sure, once again, you recap at the very end. Hey, this is why we went with this company. This is why we chose this premium amount. Notice how the client wanted to do this, but I redirected them in this direction. Notice how the client had X amount in savings. So because they had a little amount in savings, we went with this premium instead. Notice how I got the client to fund annually versus fund monthly. Whatever it might be, just make sure that you are teaching them how you got to the conclusion versus just doing everything for them and not teaching them the actual strategy. We need to build competent people, not just people that can give a presentation. Number 7, role play, role play, role play. You say it, I say it. You say it, I say it. Repeat after me. Repeat after me. Repeat after me. See, there's a big difference between transferring knowledge and transferring skill. Transfer knowledge comes from me teaching you. Transferring skill comes from you doing it all on your own. And so your ability to role play with people and get them doing it all on their own is going to lead to more people out there selling faster. See, I can go over all of the products. I can go over all the benefits of the product, but you knowing all the benefits and you being able to explain the benefits is 2 different skills. And so I got to teach you not only the knowledge, but teach you how to execute with that knowledge. That comes from role play. Does role play mean you're going to be perfect when you start doing it live? No, but the fact that you can get it down from a role play perspective is going to increase the likelihood of you getting a result in a game time experience when you're actually meeting with a client. So the fastest way to duplicate is role play. Repeat after me, repeat after me, repeat after me. You say this, say this, say this, say this. All right, repeat after me, repeat after me, repeat after me. You do this enough times and somebody role plays with you enough times, they'll have confidence in no time. Number 8, have a sign-off process. One of the things that I've done is actually hire somebody to sign people off and certify them to sit down with clients. In the beginning stages of my business, I was that person. I signed everyone off and I certified everyone. And do I think that you should certify the people that you have out there independently selling? Absolutely. You have to do it, or you have to have a trusted advisor that can do it. But the fact of the matter is that there does need to be a certification process, so that way people are competent, and so that way you know that everyone's marching to the same beat. This is huge. Since I've implemented this, the amount of times we've duplicated ourselves has gone up significantly, because now everyone's marching to the same beat. Everybody's saying the exact same things. Why? Because we are signing them off to do so. We're signing them off to say the right things. We're signing them off to say the same things. And we're signing off a consistent sales presentation and a systematic way of doing things. So what this does is it leads to everybody marching to the same beat. Why does this help with duplication? Because that means that I can go do a sales presentation and shadow agent A, and then I can go shadow agent B, and then I can go shadow agent C, and then I can go shadow agent D, and everyone's saying the same thing. This, once again, elevates your ability to duplicate. So yes, you need to have a sign-off process, a certification process, and that will lead to a lot more competent trainers as well. Number 9, activity challenge. The moment you sign somebody off, now it's your ability to get them on as many appointments as you possibly can. One thing I teach all of our new agents is the best ability is availability. If there's an appointment, take it. I don't care if it's a good one. I don't care if it's a bad one. I don't care if it's a medium one. Just take every appointment that you possibly can, because we need to get real game time experience. Anybody could get signed off on a presentation, but getting signed off on a presentation and truly knowing how to close in a live client appointment are two different things. And so we need to get our people on as many appointments as possible so we can get the reps up. Repetition breeds skill. Skill leads to an increase of performance, and an increase of performance is what we are all looking for. And then last but not least, number 10, even after you sign them off, we need to follow up for accountability. How many appointments did we do? What are our closing ratios? Where do we need to improve? What went right? What could have gone better? How do we get better? How do we improve? What production did we submit this week? How many appointments did we go on? How many phone calls did we make? So even after you certify people and they're officially independent, it's your job as a leader to hold them accountable, track their metrics, track their ratios, track their performance, and then coach them as needed. That's going to lead to them actually elevating their ability. So if you want to duplicate more sales agents, if you want to duplicate more field trainers, implement these 10 points that I just went over with you and watch your organization grow. If you got something out of it today, do me a favor, share this with your team, share this with your organization, share this with all of your agents, share this with your leadership team, so that way they understand the process. And if you do that, your business will grow. Hey, we appreciate you. If you learned something, tell a friend, and we will see you guys next week on the Leaders Only podcast.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's